Terry, first of all, then, thanks very much for your time. Busy time, of course, Christmas, isn't it? Has it taken on extra significance given everything that's happening in the world at the moment? Have these games taken on even more significance, do you think, over Christmas time?
No, not really. I think we can only really sort of focus on training, games, and rest and recovery. So for us, we've been on a really good run. We've gained a lot of momentum behind us, and the most important thing is that we don't get distracted by stuff that's going on, and just make sure that we keep sort of cracking on and grinding out performances and results. And so it's been quite easy, really. I think the training sessions have been really sort of spiky and fast paced, and the quality's been really good. So for us and for where we are and the vein of form that we're in, it's been quite easy to only be able to control what we can control, which is training hard and preparing for matches.
Yeah, and you mentioned the run that you're on at the moment. That must make, obviously, first of all, confidence is sky high, I would imagine. So in some ways, can the games not come fast enough because you feel on the pitch you can beat anybody at the moment?
No, not really, because I think once these games come in, they're really sort of quick. And, if you come out with 3 losses, you're totally thinking a different scenario. So we know what we've got to do, and what we have been doing is just making sure that we just focus on the pace, the energy, and the quality that we've been showing. And I think if you really sort of narrow it down, we're in a little bubble round here in Yeovil, and we can just crack on. The training ground's really quiet. The stadium's really quiet at the moment. So it's just us, and we can sort of get on with our work and keep working hard, keep working diligently, and making sure that we do our prep and organisation against the oppositions that we are coming up against, and keep trying to get results.
Yeah, and it is, of course, against a familiar face, isn't it, on Boxing Day with Gary Johnson in the opposing dugout. Is that a meeting that you look forward to on a personal level, having worked with Gary for so long?
Yeah, unfortunately, God rest his soul, Stuart Housley passed recently, so that was the last time I saw Gary, and we both did a speech for Stuart, and told a couple of stories about him. He was a very charismatic character. So that was the last time I see him. But yeah, it's always good to see him. And although it's only very briefly, it's always good to see Gary and see how he's doing.
Yeah. What sort of a game do you expect from Torquay? I guess you know what Gary likes in his teams. Does that help at all?
No, not really. I think it's been a long time since me and Gary have worked together. So they was on the back of a good couple of results, especially one of them against Stockport, and obviously they beat Weymouth. But I watched their game against Tunbridge Angels in the trophy, and I think you'd have been disappointed with that. And I always know when Gary's on the back of a disappointing result and a defeat, he'll spike them that next week. He'll get them going, and they'll be up for the game against us. So we've had a magnificent occasion the time before when we went to Torquay, when Rhys Murphy got that goal. I remember it being late on. And then we've had a bad day at the office there as well. So for us, we know what we're coming up against. We know, technically, tactically, and with the organisation, what they're going to bring to the game. And we just need to make sure that we carry on with the strengths that we've been showing in recent months.
Yeah, you mentioned previous encounters. How much do you draw on those? I mean, it was last Boxing Day, wasn't it? The unfortunate meeting that you were mentioning about, the not so good one. But I guess you can build confidence on the fact that you rebounded from that and beat them soon after that one.
Yeah, we can. But that was last year, and we've got a totally different team now. And Gary's got 4 or 5 new faces in his team as well. So it's a different game. It's the first time that we'll come up against each other, and it's a great occasion, especially for our travelling support, because they don't have to go too far. And it'll be, it'll be a great atmosphere there, and it's one for a lot of our young players. It's, they're special moments if you do get a result, especially when you get to share that with the supporters afterwards, like we do. So for us, we know what's on the line. We know what to expect from them as a team, and with their support, and with our support as well. So we're fully ready for the test ahead.
Yeah, and for you on a personal level, we haven't spoken to you that much, so how are you enjoying working with Darren Sarll?
Yeah, I mean, listen, unfortunately, he's had a family bereavement, so he's not with us today. And, Yeah, I've got to be honest. I've missed him a little bit today for his banter and when he normally, as you know, he sort of digs me out a lot and picks on me. So, but we no. The one thing he did say, which when he first come in, he said, "Tell, we're going to work really hard. It's going to be intense, but one thing that we are going to do is we're going to have fun along the way." And he's definitely delivered that. I think the way that the players and everybody and all the support staff, everybody gives 100%, and because I don't believe in 110%, it only goes up to 100. But everybody gives him 100%, and you can definitely see that on the pitch as well. The way his man management skills, the way that he takes training, the players are fighting, and to be part of part of the staff behind that as well, and with the support staff, it's been a really enjoyable experience through probably the toughest times of my life, with COVID, with Lee, with everything that's gone on within the last 2 years. He's still been a real shining light, and I think the way that he handled all of the situations and the scenarios was a credit to him and his parents, because he went through some real dark times as well. So really enjoyed working with him, and long may it continue.
Yeah, and it seems to be like a great bond that you've got within the coaching team, which can only be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. He lets everybody that sat around the table have a voice and an opinion. Doesn't mean he goes with it, mind you, but he doesn't mind people, saying their piece. And no, he's very charismatic around the staff, and the staff give him his best. So no, it's an enjoyable scenario. We're in a good spot. We're in a good moment with the football club, and especially on the field. And it's really important that we just do our best to keep that going and keep trying to get points.
Yeah, and just finally, Terry, a couple of questions on Weymouth, if that's okay, because we won't get a chance to talk to you too much in between. So Weymouth, obviously, soon after, isn't it, with the succession of games, the old rivalry, of course. So I suspect that's a game that everyone's looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I think it's a game more for the supporters than sort of what it is for us, although we do know how important it is for the supporters. And it was a tale of two games, really. The home game, when they got that equaliser late on, it was almost like we saw a little bit of the wrath of the supporters. I can remember walking off, and a few of the players walking. We got a little bit of stick after that because it meant so much to them. And then after us going through in probably the world's worst penalty shootout of all time, we managed to get through that, and then to share that with the supporters and then have the high of that, it just showed you both ends of the scale of how much it does mean to the supporters. And it'll be another tasty game, and they've got some good players, good manager, and although it's down the road, they're a good football club, and they've done well since they've come up, and hopefully we get a good result against them.
Yeah, and it was the FA Cup, of course. You met them not that long ago. Of course, they're in the same division as well. So, I mean, you obviously know all about them. They know about you. So it's going to be a sort of like a tasty affair in that respect. What does it mean to you as someone who's been around the club for a long time? Does it have a special place as well, this fixture?
I think more in the FA Cup, if I'm honest, because I played in the last game, and I remember how important it was to certain supporters. I've got a couple of long-time friends that are here that are 20 plus years, and I got the text off of him again saying, "Tell, we've got to beat Weymouth." So there was a little bit of pressure on the side of that, and you do realise how much it does mean to our supporters to be able to go in on that Monday with, because Dorset's not too far away, to be able to go in with those bragging rights, and we'll need to make sure that we try and keep that going. But again, it's another game of football, and there'll be 3 points at stake this time, so it's vitally important that we go on and get that result.
Yeah, well, good luck for the Christmas period, Terry, and have a good Christmas.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Terry, let's put the microphone on. It helps, doesn't it? Put the microphone on. Right, Terry, you've got 3 local derbies coming up in, 4 days, 5 days, whatever. Yeah. Do you think that'll help you from a point of view of motivation?
No, I think if you saw the way the players have been playing, I think they look pretty motivated at the moment, and the amount that they're giving and the energy that they're giving, whether it be a local derby or not, they are at the top ends of their scale of what they can give. And with players like Ruben coming back now, Mark Little's back in training and really progressing well. So for us now, we're starting to get players back. Joe's started to do a little bit of light work. the squad's getting stronger at the right time. So for us, it's important that that we do look to get results in these games, but we feel that the motivation is quite high because of recent results and of course performances as well. So everybody wants to get into the team.
So squeezed in between these games, you've got an FA Cup tie against Bournemouth, and then another one in the FA Trophy. Of course, the FA Trophy means a lot to you, and it means a lot to me. In fact, it's the first trophy I ever got involved in, and I think it's the first one you won with Yeovil, was it?
That's right, yes. And from our point of view, we can only really focus on the next game because for us, if we get one or two injuries, we're having to rejig, rethink, rework it. And if we start looking at games that are more than 2-3 away, that our team could be totally different. And you've seen before with, we played games and we were struggling and we was weighing up whether to play Luke Wilkinson at Wrexham away, who had been part of every time that he'd been involved in a squad or a team, apart from one game we'd won. So for us, it was, it's a different scenario where with us it could be suspensions. And so at the minute we're just focusing on the next game, which is a really important one, Torquay. And then when when these other games come round and the nostalgia of Villa Park and winning trophies and all of that can sort of come later. But at the moment we're just focusing on Torquay and making sure that we try and get a result there.
And talking of Torquay, what is the situation injury-wise? Have you got any new injuries or people coming back, or how's it looking?
Yeah, no new injuries. We've had a few people back in training, as I just said there, that been really good having Mark Little back around on the training ground. Joe Quigley's just started doing little bits and pieces. As we said, Ruben's getting stronger with every game and every training session that he's doing. So for us, it's looking good, and it's really good to get them numbers back, because rather than us have a 5-a-side in training, we're starting to have now a 7v7 and an 8v8, so it's starting to look a lot better.
Have you had to take any new precautions with regard to the COVID situation, or is it just the same as it was?
Yeah, we've got Tony Boreham that does a fantastic job with us here, who's like our COVID officer. So he makes sure that we're doing all the same protocols and making sure that we're all okay. And touch wood, everyone's been getting through it as best they can. And it's been with Tony working really diligently and really hard behind the scenes. We've been muddling through quite well so far.
I would imagine that you like sort of probably every football fan is hoping above hope that Boris doesn't follow suit from Wales and Scotland with regard to crowds and what have you. Yeah,
I mean, football without crowds we've seen before it's not the same, and it ain't the same without people and without that whole buzz of getting the result. And it took us, I think it was a year to actually get back and celebrate with the supporters, because I think at Yeovil we have got a real special bond with them after a result, where we sing the songs, go over to show our appreciation, and we really missed that during that period. And fingers crossed we don't have to do it, but again, if it's there to save lives and there to stop the spread, we've got to do what the government says. And if it is, so be it. We'll adapt, we'll overcome, and we'll make sure that we do give the best that we can. But it will be a backward step if that happens again.
And presumably a light meal on Christmas Day?
Not anymore. No, I'll have a right go.
No,
I'm going to have starters, mains, and a pudding. So I'm actually round with the manager on Christmas Day, because logistically it's going to be a little bit better for me. So. He'll be cutting my turkey for me, so I'll be saying, put a few more peas on there, and I don't think I'll be saying that. I'll be out of a job before I know it. He'll probably sack me by the end of Christmas.
I can't imagine that happening, Tom. But anyway, look, best of luck for the Christmas period. I hope you get 3 out of 3 and also a cup win as well.
Thank you, H. Thank you very much.
And have a good Christmas as well.
And you and the family, mate.
And you. Cheers, mate.
Hello, Terry. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Paul.
Now, they say the better teams kind of learn how to win when they're not playing at their best and kind of take games late on. How good was it to see the side do so well second half against Woking and get the 3 goals in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes as well you've got to realise that the game is 90 minutes, and a lot of teams probably been watching us, and Woking had definitely done that, and probably the way that they started was a lot of tactics of trying to spoil us from having a good start. So there was a lot of turn balls, a lot of balls going out of play, a lot of balls going over, and when Tavon got, it was an unbelievable finish from him on a really acute angle. It shook us a little bit, but for us, the game's 90 minutes, and if a team wants to sit back and defend for the first bit, then our legs and energy will show late on. If they want to play us and come at us toe to toe, they will see our legs and our energy early on in the game. So for us, we don't look at it as in halves and 20-minute periods. We look at it as in the 90 minutes, and however we win, we don't mind, and whatever periods of the game where the game might get scrappy, and sometimes you've got to realise the level that you're at. We're in the conference, we're not in the Premier League, where everything's going to be free flowing and and beautiful on the eye. And the most important thing is that you go and get results. And to do that, you normally need performances. But as you say, it's nice when something's not working, and the gaffer tweaked it at half time and said a few things to the group, and they really came out in that second half and responded. And it's pleasing to see that although we have so many young players, they're being very professional with their decision making. I remember late on in the game, I think it was 2 minutes before, Tom Knowles could have gone in and put across the ball to put it in on goal, and he went out to the corner flag to try and work a bit of time down. And then the second time, he thought, well, this is the right time to play, and he gave Addy the pass that then went on to score the goal. And it was that maturity that we are showing, especially late on in games, which has been really pleasing to the manager and myself.
Obviously, you've been at the club for many years now. You've seen it all before. But are the latest rumours of a takeover? Is there any whispers on the training ground about what's going on behind the scenes at all?
Well, you could ask me the same about the petrol prices in Crewcombe, but that is totally out of my remit. So I haven't got a clue. I only concentrate on what is right in front of me, which is working alongside the gaffer with this group of players and doing the best we can. Outside influences and rumours and stuff, that's been happening for years and years. If I actually went down to Asda on deadline day, for everyone that said that they've just seen a player turn up in Asda car park, I'd probably do a couple of 100,000 in petrol miles. So with what's going to happen, until something happens, that's something that me, the players and the manager, we can't control. All we can control is the controllables of training, games, dealing with schedules, and making sure that we try and get 3 points. Everything else, if that happens, it happens, and we just work accordingly.
You mentioned before about the players showing maturity beyond their years. Just how proud have you been so far this season of how good this young team have been so far? Yeah,
the way that the gaffer works with them, he's got them on it. And you've got to realise sometimes it takes a bit of time. I don't think you can really just get a group of players in where 80%, I mean, we had so many players retire at the end of last year because it was more of the balance was sort of tipped the other way, where we had a lot of experienced players coming to the end of their career, and the manager said, right, Tell, we're gonna throw this away. We're gonna go down a different path, and we're gonna go down the path of youth, legs, energy. And then we started going through clips and watching players, and I saw the twinkle in the gaffer's eye where he started getting excited again, because the gaffer's he's like a trader as well. He loves looking at the market. He loves seeing what's out there. He loves pushing to try and get the best possible talent for the best price. And I could see that he was getting excited again, and he was enjoying he loves recruitment, and he loves bringing in players, and he loves seeing players flourish, and then he loves working with them, I liken it. I always said it with the gaffer. I've got a thing called ice, and the thing that he does, which is very unique to him, is that he inspires the players with the way that he interacts with them, with what he says, with what he demands from them. Then he collaborates with them, so he gets them in, works with them, gets a buy-in from them, and then he empowers them he lets them go out and lets them make the mistakes, and when they do, He still has a go at them, mind you, but he empowers them to go out and give their best. And I think we're really seeing that, and it's really come to fruition this season, especially at this time of the year. And we've just got to keep that going because, you know, with everything that's gone on, I don't know how he sort of catapulted himself back out to have all of this energy. And, you know, it's really impressive to watch alongside him.